Not exactly.
Time to let go of what you used to be. Discover who you're meant to be.
All our lives we've lived with death. Why shouldn't they know what it feels like for a change? Just accept who you are.
The bad guy. Morbius.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Suburban Nerd. This channel I give my reviews on today's nerd news. But today I'm doing a movie review, and today's movie I'm reviewing is Morbius, starring Jared Leto. So I haven't done this in a while, but if you haven't seen any of my reviews, what I do is I give a quick synopsis of what it's about. I give my pros, give my cons, then I give a grade to it at the end. So this Morbius movie is based on a Spider-Man character, Morbius, the living vampire. Basically, because vampires are usually the living dead. Well, he's a living vampire because he never died or whatever. And it's not through like some magical ways in which he got his vampire state. It's because he did some medical things, splicing vampire DNA with human DNA, and he did this to cure this condition that he has, where like you're weak and your blood has to be kind of transfused like every other day or something like that. So he grows up to be this great scientist, and he does an experiment out in the international waters and becomes this living vampire. A friend of his becomes it as well, and then there's a back and forth and people die, and that's pretty much the basis of the story, because there's not really that much to it that you would think. And I'm not going to go into the negatives yet, but my pros, Jared Leto, his character was somewhat likable. Jared Leto, I like him as an actor. I do like the roles he does. I might not love him, like say the way he did the Joker was different. I didn't hate it, but it was different. But I like his music. 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah, I love it. I'm trying to think of the pros. Sorry. As far as when he goes crazy with the vampires, that's kind of cool. The look of him, and when he has the fangs, it's okay. And I'm sorry, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go into the cons now. All right, right off the bat, editing. The editing in the beginning was horrible and downright confusing. The way they edit, it starts off okay. He starts off and goes to what you see in the trailer, where he goes into the vampire cave. He goes to the front of it. One of the things I didn't understand is, okay, he cuts himself as you see in the commercial, but he has no protection. So why don't the vampire bats attack him? And somehow he's able to bring him back home safely, but somehow with not a scratch on him. He's a feeble person, but somehow no bats touched him. That's the first thing. When they show him as a little kid, and this is where it gets confusing, because they have flashbacks, and then there's flash forwards, and then flashbacks of the flash forwards, in which, as far as him as a little kid, his friend, he meets someone new, the person ends up getting sick. This is where they both are sick, but the transfusion machine stops working, and he figures out a way to get it working, even though Luxius, but he calls him Moni or something like that. But anyways, and since he does this, the doctor that was taking care of them sees how genius he is, and then decides to send him to New York as a special gifted school. And while they're doing that, they're showing the kid getting a letter from him, I guess after he'd go to the school. But then things happen, and then it flashes back to when he was just talking with the kid, and they're just cool, and then it's confusing, because it's jumping back to when they first met, and while they're first meeting, it's jumping forward to when they're already cool, then jumping back to when they're first meeting, then jumping forward to when he's going to school, and then it's just crazy. Once that's done, okay, he's a scientist. Then it's okay, but when the other person becomes a vampire, it's like, what is your purpose for doing all this bad? Is it because you've been bullied and you were weak, so now you feel alpha and you decide to kill everybody. And I can understand it because people, once they get power, sometimes it changes them. I've seen it firsthand where they were cool people, once they get in power, they become a dick. You know what I'm saying? But this movie it made it like he had no other purpose than to just mess up Jared Leto's Morbius' life so that they can be cool together. But I don't know how you think that you guys gonna be cool when you're straight up killing people that care about him and then trying to kill him. So I never understood the logic behind the main villain. And as far as visuals, people say that the visuals suck, right? And the reason I think it does is because, first of all, the face of the bad guy, like when he changes, it looks kind of weird. Other than that, whenever they're fighting, they're doing this weird kind of color sound thing, so it looks like vapors. And I don't know, it's hard to interpret whether they're doing it and that's what's really happening. You're seeing like these vapors, like when he's moving, is it really smoke, or is the movie trying to interpret the sound of him moving? Because when it does the echolocation, everything does that smoke thing, so it's like, okay, that's counted as sound. So, and then it doesn't make sense how he can fly. He has no wings, but for some reason his character can fly, and it's not. You would think that the serum would just give him the super strength, super speed, but flying would require some wings. So all of a sudden it's like magic, and it's like there was a lot of plot holes that just didn't make sense to me. And then as far as the visuals, again, when they at nighttime when the main fight happens, it's at night, and with all the smoke things, you can't see what's going on at all. I was literally lost as they broke and fell through floors and broke through this, and then once he's able to control bats, and it was just really a cluster mess of visuals that you could not understand, which is why I understand some people saying bad visual effects, because it was messy. They made it seem like this was part of the MCU, maybe like the broken world, and yes, it kind of does it, but it does it sloppy because, you know, you see in the commercials the Vulture's character, you know, played by Michael Keaton, and somehow he's over into the world, and I don't know. Apparently they say Venom, so apparently this Morbius is in the same world of Venom, so I guess the Vulture is in the same world of Venom. But it makes no sense how because all the other bad guys in No Way Home got sent back to where they came from, but this guy somehow got sent to a different world, and it didn't make sense why. And then the second end credit, I'm sorry I'm spoiling for you, but none of this makes sense. So when you even see it, it's not gonna make sense. He meets up with the Vulture with the full suit. Somehow he put it together, and there was like, let's make a group or team. And that's where I feel bad, because I'm like, yo, Sony, did you not listen? You were on such a roll. You had Into the Spider-Verse, you had the Spider-Man movies, you know, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. You were just knocking it out of the park. You had the Venom movies, Venom 2. Venom 2 wasn't the best, but like people still liked it. And yet you're still trying to go back to what you did in Spider-Man 3 and then Amazing Spider-Man 2, where you're trying to force the Sinister Six thing all together, and it's not working. And this just feels forced, and especially in this after credit scene. And I'm sorry, it's just like you're losing people like this when you show like you're desperate to make this thing like a thing. And I'm kind of worried as far as the other movies, because you know they've got the Kraven the Hunter that's gonna be played by, what's the guy that is played Kick-Ass. Well, he's playing it, and you've got Silver Sable, and they've got all these movies planned for the Sonyverse. If this is an indication of what's gonna happen, I'm worried. I'm worried about what might happen, because once you start, but like I said, this is the one where everyone's not liking. So hopefully they learn from this. But I'm sorry, if I'm gonna give this a grade, I'm gonna have to give this probably a C-, because though it wasn't the worst movie in the world, I've seen some movies where it downright makes me angry. This did not. It was like a parent that says, I'm not mad at you, I'm just disappointed. And that's what it sums it up to, is with this movie. I'm just disappointed because it could have been so great. Trailers look great, but it's not. So C- is what this movie gets, and that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching my review. Remember to comment down below, share the video, like the video, tell anyone that, you know, that you think might enjoy the review. And remember, I've got a book on Amazon. It's called Rake, An Urban Hero's Journey. Check it out. And that's right here. And I will talk to you later. Thank you and good night. Peace out.